Hello, my vision show. I'm so excited to have with us today David Pietrobon. We'll be talking about CRO Journal and Optique ConEd, two incredible platforms that are designed to give on-demand education to optometrists, opticians, and other professionals within these verticals. And David, I'm so excited to have you here to talk about these great platforms today.
It's my pleasure, Charlene. Thanks for the invitation.
You're very welcome. So we've had a lot of our visitors that have taken advantage of your products. We've had nothing but great feedback. So many have demonstrated during COVID, especially, that having an on-demand solution like this really made it so much easy for them to keep up with all of the things that they needed to maintain their license and their knowledge and their education. But there's so many questions that we've been asked that I just wanted to clarify, not only for our existing audience, but maybe for some newcomers for my vision show. So thank you for giving me an opportunity to kind of answer some of these questions and give people a deeper insight into CRO.
Well, I'm happy to help advocate virtual connectivity, and certainly my vision show and CRO Journal and our CE platforms share that in terms of a mission. So I look forward to your questions. Let's go.
Excellent. So why did your company get into continuing education services?
That's a good question. If you look at our business, we have been what I would call a broad spectrum publisher. So we've covered everything in vision care, from fashion frames, industry news, practice management, and clinical content. And when we looked strategically at our business, we saw some gaps that we needed to fulfill and some opportunities in order to take advantage of. And one of them was in the clinical content area. So we did see clinical content and continuing education as an opportunity for us to fill in our spectrum. And in 2018, we had an opportunity to acquire an existing journal called CRO, Clinical and Refractive Optometry Journal. And so we did so from a strategic perspective.
Well, I know CRO has been out for quite some time. I believe it was even before COVID. How long has CRO Journal been available as a resource?
Well, CRO Journal as a print journal was available for nearly 30 years, if you can believe it. So it's been around for a long time. It was published exclusively in the Canadian market for many, many years. And in 2018, we had an opportunity to take the journal from its print format into the digital realm. And that's when I got involved personally, and our company got involved to move the journal onto a digital online platform. So it has a very strong base in the Canadian market. And I appreciate this opportunity to introduce CRO to members more broadly across North America.
And the courses, are they CRO accredited and are they peer reviewed?
Yeah, to clarify, they're COPE accredited. Each one of the articles in our journal is an accredited CE course, and they are all accredited by COPE. The big advantage of COPE, of course, is that it's recognized by all licensing boards and authorities across North America. So, we're able to get a course approved, reviewed and approved, and then make it available to any optometrist in any jurisdiction in North America. I guess the second part of your question was about reviewed. We're actually triple peer reviewed, and there aren't too many courses or journals that can claim that. And by being triple peer reviewed, it goes through three processes. First, it goes through our own editorial board, and that's the first level of peer review. Secondarily, as a distance learning course, we also have an independent review by a bona fide school of optometry. And usually that's the continuing education committee related to that school of optometry. And then the third review is by an independent COPE reviewer. So it's triple checked, if you will, and it's a very rigorous process to get a course that's unbiased and has no commercial influence, and make it available finally for optometric education.
And I think that's why doing these deeper dives is so important, David, because just hearing you talk about the level of depth that you go through in vetting this process, it really speaks to your commitment to providing diversity. And you do have a very diverse library of courses. Where do these courses come from, and who are the instructors?
Most of our courses, actually, although we're a Canadian publication, most of the course instructors are actually American. We have a mix, of course, but they're primarily American. And they come from very demanding clinical environments, in particular VA hospitals in the States. And others come from simply high volume specialty practices, where they'd see a lot of cases and a lot of instances of specialty issues, such as vision therapy or ophthalmic surgeons, etc. So they come from all over North America, primarily from the States, and they come from very high demanding practice environments. Something that the primary eye practitioner might not see every day in their practice.
Now, what would it typically cost someone, and how does the pricing model work?
Good question. We offer a lot of flexibility in our pricing model. We offer three levels of pricing. So I think we're sharing the screen, right? So we can see on the screen the various prices in the top corner, which are available on an a la carte basis. So members can come in and choose a particular course for a price, and then simply enroll in that course and pay for the course on an ad hoc basis. We also offer a prepaid package deal, sort of where the user can buy either 5 or 10 hours prepaid credits, and these credits are put into their bank, and then they can utilize these credits as they choose courses over the course of time. And then the third way that we make courses available is through an annual subscription, which is a 365-day subscription, which is analogous to an all-you-can-eat buffet. So any of our courses that are available, and as more become available and are published, they can choose any course and take that course at any time.
That's incredible. And I have to say, we did not offer education in any form on my vision show initially, just because of the huge scope of education that's offered across so many different platforms. And, there's so many opportunities for optometric professionals to get education, but there was actually such demand for it. I mean, this is something our viewers asked for, and we took great care in selecting who we were going to partner with. And the feedback we're getting from the members that have used your product are just, I mean, they're really, really appreciative of how flexible it is. How does it work exactly? What can you walk us through, how somebody would access the courses?
Yeah, sure. It's actually quite simple. It's a very intuitive website. Anyone can visit. It's open to the public. Any practitioner can come in and view the course catalogs, and you can see the course icons on the screen right now. They can pick a particular course and enroll it. But in order to enroll in the course, we first need to register into the system, because we do need to collect some vital information that we include on their CE certificate, including important things like their name, their jurisdiction, in what state they are, and their license number, of course, and their OE tracking number, so that we can generate the proper certificate upon completion of the course. So basically, they can come in and hit the subscribe button, as I'm doing right now. And as you can see, there's two levels of subscription, one premium and one basic. The basic free subscription is how most people get introduced to CRO. And they simply click on select plan and provide their name, last name, email address They tell us what country they're in, and they simply click here, give us that information that I had mentioned, and they join for free. And when they come in subsequently, they have then a dashboard to come in and where they can see which courses they've enrolled in, which courses they've passed, and can download their certificates.
I mean, that's as easy as it can get, right?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Just to take that one step further, I'm going to sign in with my account. Not that it's a real account, it's just kind of a dummy account that we've set up, and I'll just do that right now. So your viewers can see exactly what happens when you sign in after you've registered to the system. You can see here I've transported myself as into California. That's because it's 35 degrees here today, and I would much prefer to be in California weather. Nevertheless, here we are. And when you log in, you get this personal dashboard. It shows what courses you've been enrolled in, and it shows what courses that you have already completed down at the bottom here. And once you complete a course, you get a certificate, and you can simply download the certificate from the website, and you can submit the certificate to Arbo yourself, or on a monthly basis, we submit the certificates on behalf of the user. So it's very simple. The dashboard gives the user all the information as to where they're at. Now, if they want to select a new course, they simply go to the course catalog, as I'm navigating now, pick a course of interest. Of course, they can search by author, by topic, by keyword. I'm going to search on or click on this pickleball course because I know I haven't enrolled in it yet. And you can see here, I can purchase this course on an a la carte basis for $22 rather than 50 cents. And when I click enroll now, I simply have some options. I can enter a promo code. I can apply one of the prepaid hours if I had previously purchased a 5 or 10 hour package, and simply enroll in the course. So for this particular course, I'm going to enter a promo code, which we're providing for your viewers, which is MVS, which stands for, Charlene?
My Vision Show.
2022, and apply that code. And you see 22%, 2250 discount is applied to the actual price. So now it's $0 for that course.
And I have to say, when we offered this initially in My Vision Show, I know you haven't done the free courses since some of the earlier shows, but even those that took advantage of the free course, they ended up enrolling and doing as much of their CE or their COPE rather that they could on your platform. I have a question though. Can somebody do all of their required COPE courses through CRO, or is there, and this is just because I don't really understand the way that the requirements work, if like some of the COPE would have to be live, let's say, could someone potentially do all of their courses through CRO?
That's a case-by-case, state-by-state situation. So the optometrist would have to check with their particular state regulations. Some states are very generous with respect to how many course hours they permit through distance learning online, and some are very restrictive. So, we would encourage optometrists to know, obviously, their local state regulations. Very few would allow 100% online. I think they relaxed some of those regulations during COVID period, but I expect over the course of time they'll return to some different level than they were during COVID. But to answer your question, I think it's advisable for users to check with their state regulations.
I also think it's important to state that in addition to providing this platform, you've been a participant in My Vision Show. People who come and spend time on the platform chances are they're going to bump into you because you've invested a tremendous amount of time in being there so you can answer questions. Being somebody that's been a part of the media infrastructure of our industry for quite some time, you have incredible insights into, like, all the different, there's just a lot of information. And I'm involved in a lot of back end happenings in the industry, and I have a hard time keeping up. So I can imagine how difficult it is for just a practicing optometrist or even a optician to really keep track of the moving rules. And just in your interactions with my vision show, have you encountered people that have just had questions where you've been able to kind of lend a hand and help a little bit? I'd love to hear a little bit about your experiences just connecting with some of our viewers.
Yeah, well, I think I can push that a little bit back to you because you told me an interesting story about one of your collaborators um, who is in California, and the pressure that she was under to uh, attain a certain number of CE credit hours before a certain deadline date, and how she used CRO to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely true. So she ended up getting a position where they required more hours than she had already, been able to gain during the year. And there's just no way physically she would have been able to do it. So thankfully, she had a bank of hours, and she was able to just spend the weekend getting caught up. And she was able to move forward with her. I mean, it was very ambitious. She was moving out of state, so this was the final step that she got stuck in. And it would have been a pretty big problem if she hadn't been able to satisfy that CE requirement and she was able to just move on without a hitch. I also had an optometrist that claimed that at the end of the year, when all the CE was due, she had been so busy with her practice and COVID and all the things that were required of her as a professional, as just a human being. I mean, let's face it, a business owner, there's so many things we have to deal with. And there wasn't any, physical CE for quite some time where she was. So she had literally no options. And thankfully, she had your bank of hours. And she gave me the same feedback that she was able to get everything in within the deadline. And it was probably one of the best experiences for her because she was able to do it in little digestible bites rather than spending a weekend somewhere where she just didn't have the time to go and trying to cram it in that way. So when it comes to flexibility, the feedback we've received from the people who've enjoyed that has been very positive.
Yeah, we get a lot of positive feedback that people like the anywhere, anytime approach, where they can do continuing education on a Saturday morning with a cup of coffee in their pajamas if they so choose to. Um, One very inspiring story that came to our attention is we had an optometrist here up in Canada who had been out of practice for a few years battling cancer, and he was simply unable to practice during his extended course of therapy. And in the jurisdiction they have a 3-year cycle time, so they have to get a number of hours over a 3-year period. And of course this when he reemerged and was ready successfully and having a successful outcome for his therapy, he had to cram in and get 70 hours of courses within a very short period of time, just when COVID was shutting down all the meetings. And so he was able to use CRO platform to. I don't think he did all 70 on our platform, but he did the vast majority of those courses on our platform. And it was quite gratifying that we were able to use our platform to meet his needs and get him practicing again.
What are your plans for the future?
Yeah, I don't want to reveal too much of our strategy, of course, but I will say that our big push in the future will be for the U.S. market. All of the work that we do, and COPE is recognized in both US and Canada. So all the upfront effort that we put into developing a course is, equally applicable to the US market as it is to the Canadian market. So we simply need to build awareness of CRO and the CE platform in order to penetrate the US market, and that will be our push over 2022. And so I welcome the opportunity to work with My Vision Show to pursue that path.
Well, thank you. And again, when we started this, we were really, really, really early. I mean, My Vision Show was actually a pre-COVID platform, and I know CRO was as well. And when we met, it was obviously during the pandemic, but it was during a time when many people were still in that lockdown mode. So you and I had a tremendous opportunity to really learn from the visitors who came onto our platform, used these tools, and shared our feedback to come up with more interactive ways for not only people to gain access to these courses, but maybe discuss it with a friend, or come and catch another piece of content that maybe isn't necessarily cope related, but helps them to really dive into the context of some of these topics. So as My Vision Show emerges and grows, I think we'll find many great new ways to collaborate together. And I look forward to doing that, both for us to learn more together as companies that are addressing these gaps in the market, but also to provide more complete solutions to our industry as a whole.
I think there's tremendous opportunity in that regard. And again, I thank you for having us featured on My Vision Show, and look forward to doing something again shortly.
Thank you again, David. Thanks again. And we'll see you on April 28th at My Vision Show. And David, I know you'll have a booth there. So we'll be releasing information on some of the promotions that we'll be offering. And we'll be announcing a special offer just for those who watched this video today.
Super. Thanks a lot, Charlene. Take care.
You as well.